And let's consider the nakshatras. This is something that I've been contemplating lately quite often. The nakshatras are an interesting concept, and they're very important in regards to Vedic astrology. In fact, the nakshatras, the 27 lunar mansions, some consider to be the original zodiac. And what I have here on the side is a representation of the zodiac, circular, and then all of the nakshatras equally spaced, and each nakshatra is 13 degrees 20 minutes. Now, this is a little different concept than what you might be used to in regards to their alignment, but let's not worry about that for now. Let's focus primarily on the idea of the nakshatras. The nakshatras help us understand how divine energies are channeled through our life, through our birth chart. So they give us a foundation for the divine energies that are impacting our life and our consciousness. And the zodiac itself, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, and so on, these are representative of more concrete things within our life. Meaning that, they're represented by animals, such as the ram, or they're represented by the crab or the scorpion, Scorpio and Cancer. So they're not necessarily insentient, but when it comes to levels of consciousness, they're not considered to be awake. So the nakshatras are all ruled by divinities, deities, and these are awakened aspects of consciousness. The planets themselves are also said to be awakened aspects of consciousness. And the importance of the nakshatras, number one, most people use it in regards to timing. So when someone contacts me to do a muhurta for marriage or starting a business, writing, whatever it might be, I'll take a moment to look to see where is the moon placed in regards to the nakshatras. What nakshatra is the moon in? Because each of these nakshatras, each of these deities represented by the nakshatras have a particular power, have a particular energy to them. Some of them are kind and some of them are healing, such as Ashwini nakshatra. Some of them are more rough or difficult or abrasive, and that can show a time period where maybe taking up a battle or undergoing a surgery, something of that nature might be more indicated. So we need to understand the nakshatras to know how to time our life. But there is more to the nakshatras. And I'd like to say that if you want to study these in more detail, because this is just going to be a short video, I'll put a link down at the bottom of this video to a class that Ernst Wilhelm teaches on the nakshatras. I do have one in the works as well. I'm actually working on a book on the nakshatras. But for now, Ernst Wilhelm's work on the nakshatras is excellent. His course, I forget how long it is, maybe it's about 16 hours, where it goes over the nakshatras, how to use the nakshatras. You can even use the nakshatras, from my perspective and from what I learned through Ernst's teachings, you can use them as a system on their own, and you can get some amazing understanding of your chart, of timing, all these sorts of things. And timing is important because the nakshatras, the Vimshottari Dasha system is based on the nakshatras. So it's a nakshatra-based dasha. But anyway, let's get back to the point. What are the nakshatras? They're divine aspects of consciousness. And the planets, they are, the Sanskrit word is graha, which means to grasp. And some people translate that or believe that what that means is that the grahas or the planets grasp our consciousness and can direct us to either do certain things or act on certain karmas. Very true. But there's another aspect to the grahas in that what they also do is they grasp the divine energies and direct it to us. Direct it through our chart. And that's essentially how they work. And this graph here, what we have in the center, imagine this is the Earth. So if we see this little point in the center, that's the Earth. And when I expand this, you'll see that I actually have the rest of the planets all as the solar system would be set up around them. So this is the Earth, the point in which we are born. And we have all these divine energies coming down and impacting that point. And the nakshatras are stars. So if you go out and you look in the sky, you can find actual clusters of stars, constellations, and you know that in that area of the sky, that is where this deity or this energy is coming from. And this is why the sidereal zodiac is particularly important in regards to the nakshatras. So sidereal nakshatras are very important. Now, we have these energies coming down and impacting the Earth. However, energies which are divine energies, they're oftentimes astral energies can only impact us if there's a body to channel that energy. So that's why, even though you have all these nakshatras going all the time, projecting down to the earth, you don't necessarily feel the impact of that nakshatra unless there's a planet there to grasp that energy, to direct it and channel it through the zodiac sign, and then direct it to you as an individual on this earth. So let's see if I can zoom in here. So if I zoom out, so we've already seen what this is. So we've got the zodiac signs. We have the nakshatras around the zodiac and the planet. So if I zoom out, what you'll see is that we have Mars in this position. And so I have this line drawn out to show the boundary of this particular nakshatra, which is Ashlesha. So what that means is this energy is coming down through this cone. We're just using these as a metaphor, as an example. Coming down through this cone, moving through the zodiac sign, striking us on Earth, or striking our birth location, if we're talking about a birth chart. And we see that Mars is in the way. So we have this arrow pointing, and this energy is coming down. It's getting channeled by Mars through the zodiac sign to the Earth. We see we have Rahu here in the nakshatra of Purva Falguni. And what that means is that this nakshatra energy is flowing down, just like all the nakshatras are. But the reason these are most important is because there is a graha in the way to capture that energy, to channel it through the zodiac sign into our life. Which is why oftentimes you don't get a full picture of a person's chart unless you take a moment to look at the nakshatra in which that planet is placed. Because the planet's going to act like its own energy, its own entity, but it's going to be influenced by that radiation of that deity, that divinity, moving through it. So the planet will often act in accordance with the nature of the nakshatra in which it's placed, because it's catching that energy and directing it to the earth, or directing it to our birth, the place of our birth. In this position here, we have the moon. We see the moon is in Swati. So again, that means that in relation to lunar things, the energy of Swati, the divine energy of Swati, is being channeled down to the earth through the moon. So there's going to be a combination of lunar influences channeling Swati, the divinity of Swati, the divine energy of Swati. And this is why it's so important in regards to timing, especially with the moon, because every time the moon goes through a particular nakshatra, it's channeling that energy to the earth. So if you want a good nakshatra for surgery, you need to find whatever that nakshatra is and get the moon in that nakshatra, because the moon is one of the prime conductors of astral energy through our consciousness. I mean, all the planets are, but the moon in particular. And if you are having the moon in a particular nakshatra, then the actions related to that nakshatra will be better supported during that time. So the nakshatras are extremely important for timing. But also in regards to other transits, we need to not just look at the fact that maybe Mars is in Leo, but we need to see, well, what nakshatra is Mars in? Because that's going to show what divine energy is flowing through Mars, and Mars is going to act on and with that divine energy projected through that zodiac sign, and that's going to give you a better understanding of what the experience is going to be. So keep in mind that with the nakshatras, they are divine energies, and they are flowing to the earth from the stars, which is again why the sidereal nakshatras are very important, because they are specifically asterisms, star-related, instead of the rashis, which are unpopularly, they are actually solar-based, but again, that's neither here nor there, and I get enough difficult emails from people about that anyway. But the point being that even if we forget about these zodiac signs, when it comes to the sidereal aspect of things, the nakshatras are the stars, whereas the zodiac signs are representative, are indicative of the movement of the sun in relation to the earth, which is why I use the tropical zodiac. So anyway, point being, you need to understand these nakshatras to know how the planets are working, to get better insight in regards to what they're going to do. When you do that, you can read the chart much better. And as I mentioned, the course that Ernst Wilhelm teaches on the Nakshatras is really a system in and of itself, and can really be excellently used for timing, as well as understanding yourself and how your planets are going to work. So consider with the Nakshatras that they are divinities, divine energies, and that they are most impactful when there is a planet in their array to grasp that energy and channel it either to the birth chart or to the earth, depending on if you're looking at it a natal chart or if you're looking at timing, as you would say with Muhurta. We may actually do a Nakshatra class. I'm curious about that, just because I feel it's really useful to know more about the Nakshatras. It's not something that I get into too much in particular readings. I mean, I use the information for myself, but it's not something I speak about so much in a reading, only because we only have so much time, and so I have to synthesize as much as I can. But we may do a Nakshatra class. But in the meantime, I am working on a book on the Nakshatras, and you do well to take Ernst Wilhelm's course to get a really deep understanding of how the Nakshatras work, how they relate to dashas. And I just think you can do amazing astrology with the Nakshatras by themselves. So hopefully this has been helpful for you, understanding what the Nakshatras are, why you want to have the moon in a particular Nakshatra when it comes to timing an event. And also, it's important to know how a planet is going to be modified, what kind of deity, what kind of energy is working through that planet. You know, for example, you can have Mars in a gentle nakshatra, which would take a little bit of the edge off of Mars. Maybe he's more of a healer in this regard. You could have Mars in a cruel nakshatra, and that brings out more of the cruel energy of Mars. So if you're kind of on the fence of, is this Mars going to act beneficially or negatively, you can back up and look at the nakshatra and see what is the quality of that nakshatra, that deity, that divinity. And then that'll help you understand how that Mars is going to work within someone's birth chart. So we'll be in touch soon. Art and Science of Vedic Astrology Volume 2 will be out July 9th at 12:05 p.m. So you can get it on Amazon after that. I don't know if I'll have it on Kindle by then. All of our classes for the summer have concluded. I am planning on doing some study groups. And so it's going to use WebEx. And we can host probably about 24 people. So it's got limited space. But my idea is to maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks make this available to people who want to discuss astrology, specific topics, things you already know about, classes that you've already taken to review them, to really bring it home for you. So if this is something you're interested in, email me and I can put you on the list of announcements. It'll probably be a minimal fee, maybe $10 per class or something of that nature. But anyway, it'll be enjoyable, and I'll probably take that through the fall. I don't know if I'm going to do any other classes this fall. I might focus on these study groups, although it would be nice to do a nakshatra class. So we'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, start with this. Consider the nakshatras in this way and meditate on it. Contemplate it. Imagine, what does this mean? How does this work? Because for me, I get the best insights and the best information when I take an idea. Like, for example, all of this right here, this picture here, this was something I was meditating on a few days ago in regards to the nakshatras, and it all just clicked. It snapped into place in regards to how this works. And I couldn't really describe it with words. I did my best in this video, but I had to draw it out first. So I went and I made the circle, I made the diagram, I somehow figured out how to make 27 equal divisions here for the nakshatras and put in all the planets, and that helped me to visually understand what's going on. So for you, if there's something that you don't quite understand astrologically, use this as well. Don't just say, I don't understand it, and move on. Stop and think about it. Wonder about it. If you need to draw things out to understand how it might actually fit, that can help you understand how astrology works. And all of this has actually been based on a lot of things I've been watching with quantum physics, and there's a great show called The Inexplicable Universe with Neil deGrasse Tyson. And even though that's on physics, and it does deal with stellar things, it's helped me understand astrology so much better. So don't just focus on astrology. Expand your studies. Learn about physics, learn about quantum theory, learn about the universe. That'll help you understand what's going on, and learn about astronomy. the more you learn about astronomy, the more you realize there are some things in astrology which are a little weird or not quite correct. And once you understand that, then you can apply it to astrology, and you'll find that your astrological capacity grows. Your understanding of astrology grows. So keep all this in mind. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll be in touch soon. Thanks.